Howdy, partners! Welcome to the Haunted Chronicles, episode 112. Thank you to last week's guest, Fabian Trahan. Tonight we're taking a journey through some haunted forests. Remember these gems, kids. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who lived in a village near the forest. And once upon a time, there was a very poor woodcutter that lived in a tiny cottage in the forest with his 2 children. Oh boy. This episode, Through the Trees, is sponsored in part by Pepperidge Farm. They're making raisin bread like Grandma made. No artificial preservatives, a treat for breakfast, coffee breaks, or late-night munchies. You see, Pepperidge Farm remembers. I am Mr. Haunted, joined by the baby-faced assassin, Brock Burrows, and Jennifer Baby Soft Runyon. Fellas!
Yellow!
The worst intro ever.
I'm laughing. I thought it was funny. Pepperidge Farm.
What's new, guys?
Like
what happened this
Grandma
week?
Yeah.
Oh, this week.
Wow.
This week. I want to, that those gaming systems, you have that reset button.
Oh.
Yes.
I wish we had one to push.
Oh.
I want to defrag my
bad?
brain.
It's just all these retrogrades are just crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a weird week, right? Has everyone had like the strangest things going on and weird communication and weird? Oh God! When is this over?
I had a weird thing happen
What?
yesterday.
What?
Oh well, it's a very sad story, but it has to do with the woods. So we're on subject. Little Holly Haunted came home from school and said there's a raccoon in the yard. So, it was during the day, so immediately I was thinking, okay, that's bad,
Yeah.
So I went out there, and he was just sitting, he was walking really funny. It was like the scene in To Kill a Mockingbird when the dog was coming down the street, if anybody saw that.
Yeah.
So I knew that I had to make a phone call, and I was very sad. And I was feeding him some bread to keep him in the yard so he wouldn't, go off somewhere else. And the neighbors called ahead of me, and then in like 5 minutes they had the animal control there, and police showed up, and little Johnny Raccoon didn't make it. He was sick.
What did they think was wrong with him?
They think he was rabid, and
they think it was rabid, but yet you were out there feeding him bread.
Well,
I know.
He was hungry.
So he was eating.
He was eating. I want to keep him in the area, so when
Yeah. But what did he like best, the bread or your leg?
His last meal was a combination of romaine lettuce and bread.
And Jimmy's ankle.
His last meal. His little last meal.
I'll post a picture of him later in there. It was very sad.
Oh, you took a picture too.
Yeah, I took video and pictures, and he was my little friend.
Your little rabbit friend.
You could have tried performing an exorcism or it wouldn't be called an exorcism. It would be called a rabiesism.
I think so.
So how are you, Jimmy?
I don't have anything prepared, Brock.
Yeah, whatever.
But I'm happier than a frickin' frolicking eastern red-tailed weasel frolicking through a meadow while holding a long yellow chiffon ribbon. If you could picture that. Thank you.
Chiffon ribbon. Yellow chiffon ribbon. That's a lovely vision.
That's what vision I had in my head, so I had to put it into words.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought you were going to say you're happier than a raccoon with rabies.
No, he was a nice little fellow. I'll post pictures after. So it was very...
I missed that Facebook post. I was kind of off the grid for a couple of days there.
I deleted it after 2 minutes because everybody was yelling at me.
Oh, okay. I
didn't have time to tell them the whole story. They're like, you got to do this and this. Okay.
Yeah, right.
I know what I had to do.
Yeah.
Everyone has an opinion.
Everyone also has celebrity birthdays.
Hey.
Before we do scary movie celebrity birthdays, why are the woods so scary, fellas? Even without the haunted forests, why are the woods scary? If you think they are.
I do. Yeah, go, Brock. You go first.
I was gonna say I don't think they really are that scary, and I think at night it brings up a whole nother thing. But I think it's a lot like the paranormal. It's the unknown. I mean, you don't know what you're going to encounter.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's why it's so scary, especially at night.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't know what's behind the tree up there.
Animals, people.
Yeah,
Jimmy,
people, crazy
get lost.
People.
Yeah,
Jimmy.
I could be in there.
But you know what? When I lived in Oregon, one of the most beautiful, you can go, I'm sure there's beautiful forests all over the States, but they were so gorgeous, the forests in Oregon. And we used to take the kids on hikes, and even in the daytime up there, it was a little creepy, because it's dark, and the minute you exited, it was like pure sunshine, and there was always a little creep factor, I think.
Wow. I'm sorry. Somebody in the chat asked if I ate him. No, I didn't eat the raccoon.
Oh.
Wow.
Right. Let's get into our celebrity birthdays.
Let's do it.
Rest in peace, little raccoon.
Yeah.
Our first celebrity having a birthday this week is George Clooney, who is in A Touch of Evil, From Dusk Till Dawn, Return to Horror High, and Gravity. George Clooney.
You want to go first, Brock?
I'll go first this time. Gosh, he's hard to predict. 57.
Yeah, I agree. 57.
He'll be 55. And George doesn't listen anymore since my Nursery Rhymes episode, so don't worry about it.
Okay.
It's a little high on him. Melissa Gilbert has a birthday on May 8th. She was in The Soul Collector, The Outer Limits. She was little Laura Half-Pint Ingalls on Little House on the Prairie.
Mm-hmm.
How old's Half-Pint?
How about 52?
Ooh, so I'm going to go with 52.
Correct.
That was just so out of the blue.
No, that's actually incorrect. She turns.
Oh, did I add wrong?
No.
Isn't it? Wait, did I look it up wrong? Oh,
I probably did.
Hold on, let me verify. All right, we're getting a second check here.
We're getting verification.
Oh nope, you're absolutely right. You're right. She turns 50. She turns 52. That's right.
That was very exciting there for a minute.
I apologize.
That's okay.
We have corrected it.
That's Dr. Dave, our producer, that keeps everything in check.
Man, we never had a judge overturn you.
Overturned. All right.
If people check the facts, there's a fact checker, Dr. Dave. He's the fact checker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually researched this stuff. You know something?
Yeah.
Okay. Emilio Estevez. Birthday is May 12th. He was in Dear Dracula, Judgment Night, Maximum Overdrive, Nightmares, and, of course, The Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
Emilio.
Emilio.
I don't know. It just came to me 56. I don't know.
Oh. Okay, I'm just going to go with Brock again. Let's just say 56.
He'll be 54 unless the ruling is overturned.
Oh,
I think he's lying. I think that's a
yeah.
lie.
Yeah, I want a judge's rule here.
I want to see the birth certificate. Dang it.
Oh, boo.
Now, one more. It wasn't any scary movies, but he deserves a shout out tonight. Billy Joel has a birthday May 9th. He was the writer on the Piano Man episode on the Brady Bunch Variety Hour. He's had 33 top 40 hits, 6-time Grammy winner, and has sold 150 million records. Billy Joel.
Billy Joel. Okay, I'm going to say 63.
Guess I'm a liar.
65.
67.
Oh. All right.
And that does it for Scary Movie Celebrity Birthdays.
What were we, 1 for 4?
Yeah.
We only did 4?
Yeah.
I used to do like 6. I used to do 6 and 7, but they didn't end until 8:30. So,
well, see, it's a retrogrades, especially Mercury. We didn't, the communication between, Google virtually and us, we're not there. So normally we can just think what Google's going to say. And
do you guys know that? I have a couple questions really quick before we get to our stuff. One is, how long does this last? Mercury in retrograde. How often does it happen? And am I the only one that when I see it posted, I completely ignore it because I am afraid of bad stuff, so I just I pretend that it's not in retrograde.
I have a dungeon that I go in and lock myself into. And I come out for the show, but
why don't they just blow it up? You know what? Whatever candidate will blow up Mercury, I will vote for them.
And that's exactly what I said. And Melissa Bruce said that we would cause devastation to the solar system and to Earth. So that may not be a good idea. And Dave's posting it here in Skype. So there's a bunch of Mercury retro. It's 4 times this year. January 5th to the 25th, 2016. April 28th through May 22nd. Holy crap. We got a couple more weeks.
Long time.
I know. August 30th through September 22nd. Oh, that's my birthday's in the middle of there. What's up with that? And December 19th through January 8th. So for Christmas, Mercury is going to be in retrograde. Nice.
Is it always this many times a year, or does it change every year?
I think the last couple of years, I think it's been in twice. I think this year is 4. But I don't know for sure. Yeah. Not 100% sure. Melissa's not in the chat anymore. We could bring her in and she can answer that one.
Wow. We don't like that Mercury in retrograde.
No.
No fun.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. Did Jimmy run off?
No, I'm right here.
Oh.
I just don't know anything about Mercury retrograde except it's bad.
Exactly. Well, that's all you need to know.
I don't know either. That's why I wanted to ask really quick, because it's annoying. It's annoying.
Yes, it is.
But I want to hear some cool stories.
Well, I have the first story.
Let's go into the woods.
Let's go into the woods. Turn your lights off, fellas. Get your flashlight. Mm-hmm. This story is more like an urban legend, I think. But Brock, you might have even been here, or you should go here if the story is 1% true. It's worth it. This is a ghost story you won't find in any books or newspapers, but everyone in town knows it. The Dunlora Mansion is one of the oldest homes in Charlottesville, Virginia, and lies at the end of a long dirt road deep in the woods. In 1900, the mansion was owned by a woman believed to be a witch. And the woods behind the home was public land and was a popular camping spot. Sometime during the 1920s, 6 Boy Scouts and their scout leader were camping in these woods. The scouts were asleep in their tents. The scout leader awoke to strange sounds. He went to check on the kids and found all the boys gone. He saw a light in the distance. He called for them, no answer, but realized the source of the light was a single candle burning in the window of the mansion. The door was open, and while searching the house with a flashlight, he saw the face of the old witch in front of him, smiling with sharp yellow teeth. Mufasa. He ran out of the house, and if anybody didn't see Lion King, I say that a lot. He ran out of the house, and on the dirt road found the scouts with their stomachs slit open. The scout leader passed out, but that's the story. The next morning, police discovered all the bodies, and they said the scout leader's mind snapped. He explained that it was a witch, and he was arrested for the murder of 6 scouts and spent the rest of his life in an asylum.
Oh, wow.
Soon after the incident, 7 full-grown trees had suddenly appeared on the road leading to the mansion. Locals believe that the souls of the 6 scouts and their leader are trapped in those trees. Holy mackerel!
That's weird. You know, Charlottesville is 2 hours from here, but an hour from my parents' house. So I may have to go check that out.
Yeah, you might. Yeah.
Just for the selfie opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take a cardboard cutout of Jennifer and Jimmy and put them next to me. And
tag me in that.
See if our little guts are split open in the cardboard. Yeah.
All right, this
but we're laughing. This isn't funny, right?
It is, because I was looking up, just immediately questioned some of those facts that were, but it's a great story anyway.
Yeah.
All right, this next one is a true. I posted a picture in the chat. This one's called Island of the Dolls.
Oh, my God.
A dark, creepy island near Mexico City is the location of what might be the strangest, creepiest tourist attraction ever.
Yes.
The Island of the Dolls was dedicated to the spirit of a little girl who had died there. There are severed limbs, decapitated heads, and mutilated dolls hanging or nailed to the trees and fences here. The story goes, it all started when Dan Santana found the body of a drowned child in a canal about 50 years ago. So when he saw a doll floating there soon after, he hung the doll in a tree to please the girl. He thought this would appease her tortured soul and protect the island from further evil. We all do that, don't we? Anyway.
Yeah.
Anytime he found dolls or doll parts, he would hang them from the trees. So I guess the doll parts are just thrown willy-nilly all over this island. The story took a weird turn in 2001 when Santana drowned in the same canal that he found that little girl in.
Oh.
Some believe it was an accident, while others believe that the dolls inhabited by tortured spirits conspired to murder the old man. Visitors to the Island of the Dolls swear that they hear the dolls whispering to them while visiting. And I have a short story if Christine's listening from Ghosts and All Things Paranormal. When I was a kid, I was I was probably 10 years old or so. And we used to visit our cousins a lot. And I'm not going to say which ones or where they live, just in case they hear this later. But we used to go into the woods in back of their house, and we used to find dolls hanging from strings from the branches, and they were old, like in the 50s or something, and like arms and legs just dangling all over the woods. And as a kid, I said, wow, some psycho must live in the woods somewhere. When I got older, I drove past the house just to, wanted to reminisce and look at it, and the woods in back of their house is literally like no more than 20 yards. Like it's not deep, dense woods, and it's really only accessible by my cousin's house. So, yeah.
Ooh.
Okay, that's a little weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really that had to haunt you a little bit.
And I actually forgot about. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And I just got reminded of that when I looked up that story.
The picture is so creepy.
Yeah, why are dolls creepy? We did a haunted dolls episode. I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
We could not talk about that one. No, I don't like dolls, and I think the main reason is my mom had all these dolls, especially when she was growing up, and even like the Chatty Cathy doll that she had when she was a kid looks demonic. It really. I'm just waiting for one day when I'm visiting the doll, the Chatty Cathy, the old Chatty Cathy. She has a new one too, I guess, to compare. Just waiting for her to be up above my head and all of a sudden go, "I'm going to eat you now," because she's just freaky looking, and I just don't like dolls. I just don't like them.
My aunt, my auntie Sonia, she would. She used to make dresses for dolls. So her bedroom. She was an old maid. She never got married. And her bedroom was purple. I mean, it was the creepiest bedroom because you'd walk in and there were shelves all lined around the room, and she'd have dolls with the dresses that she knitted, and it was all knitting. And she had one for every month, an April doll, May doll, June doll, and then she'd have the Christmas doll. There was a December doll, but then there was the Christmas doll, the Easter doll, and they covered her bedroom. And my cousins and I, we hated going in there. But we used to force ourselves because we'd be like, let's go see the creepy dolls, when we were little. But yeah, dolls are really creepy.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I've got a really weird one. Do we have time for it before break?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Okay. This is called the Suicide Forest. Have you guys heard of this?
No.
It's a well-known forest, and it borders Mount Fuji in Japan, and has a depressingly accurate nickname. Since the 1950s, an estimated 500 people have journeyed to the Akigahara to end their lives. That's the name of the forest. And the forest continues to beckon people to die. Those who have visited the forest as tourists have come across rotting bodies swaying from tree branches, skulls and bones littering the ground. Due to the sheer amount of tragic death, the forest has become something of a purgatory, filled with ghosts known as yuri, who howl with suffering for their lives that were ended too soon. Some say the trees themselves are filled with malevolent energy that wants to keep you in the forest, possibly explaining why so many choose to commit suicide there. Indeed, even those who have just gone to check it out have admitted feeling a sense of permanence, like they were bound to the forest for the rest of their lives. I don't think I'd be going to the suicide forest.
Yes. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'd go where you think you've heard of a haunting, but I don't think I'd go to a forest that said suicide, had that moniker on it. That'd be kind of...
Yeah, especially if you know that people reported seeing bodies hanging from trees.
Could you imagine, you guys? Could you... Bones, and then one thing I read about this is that recently somebody went there and they came across a skeleton with the jeans still on the bones and sneakers still on the feet.
Yeah, that's crazy. And then Jimmy posting the picture turning a doll's head into a handy nightlight for your kid.
And thank you, Nicholas, for that one. That's an actual picture from, I had that already, from Japan's suicide forest.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
And do you have anything more on that, Jen?
No, tell me more. If there was more, I couldn't find any more on it.
I got, there's a sign at the entrance of the main trail that urges suicidal visitors to think of their families and to contact a suicide prevention program. And in 2003, I just know this off the top of my head, of course. In 2003, 105 bodies were found in the forest, breaking the record of 78 in 2002. And officials stopped publicizing the numbers in an attempt to downplay the forest association with suicide. And it's also said to be haunted by, I guess, in their culture, if somebody's elderly, it's not funny, I'm sorry.
What are they haunted?
Oh, man.
What
I'm going to hell. Well,
we all are.
When they have an elderly relative that's sick, they just left them to die there.
Left them there. Oh no!
Oh, that's wrong.
And they're said, I don't know why, they're said to haunt the trees and the forest's visitors there. There's also bird-like demons that are thought to haunt the place too, and others claim to have seen spectral white figures glide between the trees. There's no wildlife, and they said because of the density of the closely packed trees, all the sunlight and wind are blocked. Yes, they stumble upon skeletons and corpses, and some people feel beckoned to the woods. Very creepy.
That is, yeah. See, that doesn't entice me. You know, does that entice you to want to? Would you go, you guys? If somebody said, okay, here's 3 tickets, the 3 of you, we're going to send you to the suicide forest. Would we go? What do you think we should? What would we do?
Oh, am I going?
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious that if people went, are they more apt to then commit suicide? Does it have that kind of effect on people, or is it just the people that are, down in their luck anyway, and they're just drawn to go there to do this?
I've heard both.
Both? Okay.
Yeah.
Then no, I would not
so
go.
Sad.
I just, I understand that things like that happens, but I just can't think personally for me that anything would ever get that bad that I would need to do something like that. But
right.
That's me. I mean, everyone's their own person.
Right.
That picture I posted with the dolls, when you turn them into a little light, somebody that's listening just posted underneath it that they just found a Barbie head on the floor.
Nice. Oh, Linda Marie in the chat room just said there's a suicide song too. It's Hungarian. It's called Gloomy Sunday. People hear it and they kill themselves.
Linda Marie. We did a Music Curses episode and included that song. I don't know if it's still in the archives or it's too far back, but we did a whole show on that one.
She says she's heard it a few times and she's still here, so that's
I'm not
a positive.
listening to it. I think we just played like one bar. We want any shenanigans.
You only played one bar?
I think,
I don't know what a bar is. Sounded good.
One fret. Just play one fret. Okay, we're done.
Beep.
All right, and we'll see you on the other side of that song. See you later, fellas. Welcome back to the Haunted Chronicles. Tonight's episode is called Through the Trees. And thank you, everyone that came into the chat. Bar Ray, Brock, Dr. David, Indy, Dwayne, Kathleen, Squatchy, Wells, Lisa, Tiffany, Heidi, Maggie, Debbie, Linda Marie, Tony, Chad, Mike, Candy, Nicholas, Russell, Desi, Victor and Linda, Randy, Diane, Corey, Cheryl, Valerie, Holly, Frankie B, Amy's in the car, and all the shares. There was over 40 shares of the page this week, and I try to explain how Facebook won't allow me to see them all unless they all come on my feed if I see them naturally or whatever. So thank you to everyone that shared the page, especially the groups Electric City Paranormal, Ghosts and All Things Paranormal. Everybody, thank you very much. I only missed 38, but we're back.
We're back.
I have it. You want me to go?
Well, I just ran through the forest and ran into a tree. So yeah, go ahead.
All right.
Recuperating.
This one is called Satan's Hollow.
Nice. So this is going to be all happy and cheery, right?
Yeah. You know what? I thought it would be just more like nursery rhyme type stories, and they got bad really quick, and they got creepy. So I kind of liked it. I'm posting a picture for you guys. Come to paramaniaradio.com to see these joyous pictures in the chat room.
Mm-hmm. Tucked away. The next 5 people coming in get free admission to the chat room.
Mm-hmm.
And free Travelways luggage. That's Travelways. Tucked away in the woods in Blue Ash, Ohio, exists what some insist is a portal to hell. There's these tunnels, and it's located in a series of like drainage tunnels, and it's one of the best known but least seen urban legends around the Blue Ash, Ohio region, where it's well known, I guess, that a group of Satanists supposedly used to meet there, and they have a type of altar room and conduct satanic rituals. So there's all these series of drainage tunnels, and it leads to this altar room. These rituals included holding dark mass, animal sacrifices, human sacrifices, so they say, and conjuring. The legend claims that they somehow opened up a portal to hell itself. Screams can be heard at night, and there have been sightings of various apparitions, including floating skulls and a demon commonly known as Shadow Man. The Shadow Man is said to appear in human form, but is all blacked out. These tunnels are creepy enough and not very big. You pretty much have to stay hunched over to get through all the tunnels, and they get smaller as you go through. And as you reach the end, like I said, there's an altar room. The Blue Ash Police Lieutenant Stephen Schuler says there were never any sacrifices made there, and said this is just a legend. Of course it is. I'm not going in there either.
Yeah. When you said portal to hell, all I could think about is a certain guy, on a certain TV show, saying that he was at another portal to hell. And I had to giggle a little bit, and then I threw up in my mouth a little bit. So we're all good.
Oh, we just got a couple new shares of the page. Thank you, Snow and Nicholas. So now we're up to over 40.
Nice.
You know what? I forgot. Happy Mother's Day to everyone. Before I forget, we're going to run out of time, and I won't say it. Happy Mother's Day to everybody. Happy Mother's Day, Jennifer.
Yes. Oh, thank you, and happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there, and grandmas, and godmothers, right?
And Jimmy.
And me.
And Jimmy, and, there you go. Valerie, and everybody.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you. And next week's going to be, I need an organizer.
I already paid for Paul's plane ticket to come over and help organize you.
Oh, I wanted to thank Paranormal Planet, On the Fringe, Art Bell's Midnight in the Desert Fans, Independent Paranormal Research Society, Big Bear Ghost Seekers, Edge of Fear, Realm of the Unknown, and Paramania Radio also shared our page. Next week's show falls on Friday the 13th, and also will be episode 113.
Oh, God.
And we have Alexandra Holzer scheduled. Alexandra is the daughter of paranormal researcher and author who wrote 100 books on the occult and the supernatural, Hans Holzer, and she is following in her father's footsteps and is a second-generation ghost hunter. And she's going to have some amazing stories for us.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
All right. Does anybody want to hear about the Devil's Tramping Grounds?
Yes.
In the hills of Chatham County, deep. We were talking about To Kill a Mockingbird on break. Isn't Chatham part of that To Kill a Mockingbird story? I think it is.
That sounds familiar, isn't it?
Yeah, not North Carolina, but Chatham's involved there somehow. In the hills of Chatham County, deep in the woods, near Harper's Crossroads, lies one of the most famous haunted places in North Carolina. The Devil's Tramping Ground is a mysterious, perfectly round and absolute barren circle about 40 feet in diameter. Nothing grows in this circle, and any vegetation transplanted there will wither and die. And people say any object left in the circle before dusk will be violently moved outside the circle by dawn. Locals have been unsuccessful in trying to transplant grass there and have attempted to anchor sticks and other objects in the circle, but by morning, the objects seem to be pushed out of the circle.
Ooh, that is so creepy.
And a legend generations old says that Satan frequents this area in his nightly walks as he contemplates his evil deeds.
Sure
Inside
he does.
the strange barren circle, no plants will grow, compasses spin wildly, and visitors complain of nausea. Or nausea. What do you say?
Nausea.
nausea, and
Nausea.
strange figures that appear in the surrounding woods. Hunters have said their dogs refused to enter the circle. A couple of animal trackers camped out in the circle and saw a strange man with a melted face appear in front of them. Many who have placed belongings in the ring wake up to find their stuff missing and found later hundreds of feet away. Devil's Tramping Ground, Chatham County. And there's a lot of those circles around the country. You have any in your area, guys? I know there's one in Connecticut here. There's one in Massachusetts. There's one called Witch's Circle, which I didn't research, so I can't say too much about it. But
I don't know of anyone around here.
Yeah, I don't
Do
know
you have
either.
any, Brett? Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Now-
I don't know.
So there's supposed to be one near you, Jimmy?
There is, and I haven't been there yet, and it's so close. I should have been there. I should still go. But I think it's called Witch's Circle. I'll go there this summer, and we'll get back to you on that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
This one doesn't sound scary,
Okay, tell us this one. I'm looking up something, so I'm listening.
but it's called Clinton Road in New Jersey. There is a long, curvy, lonely stretch of road in West Milford, New Jersey, that is the subject of many strange and frightening stories. There is a dense forest on either side of the road. We could do a whole hour on these stories, but I'm going to focus on the one aspect. Everything from animal sacrifices, UFOs, aliens, witches, a floating dog, and an area called Dead Man's Curve. And I'm going to share the one that I think is the creepiest. The story goes, there is a young dead boy who hangs out under a bridge and returns coins to you after you throw them in the water. The ghost boy is the most commonly talked about spirit there, but not the only spirit to haunt this road. Here are some stories told about the ghost boy of Clinton Road. Go to Clinton Road at midnight, stop at the bridge by Dead Man's Curve. The story goes, if you sit on the bridge and throw pennies into the river, the ghost of a young boy will throw them back at you. Oh.
Ooh.
Another rumor is that if you throw a penny into the lake, the next morning the penny will be back on the road. And one story says a little boy drowned here trying to get a ball out of the water, and he will appear at night and return the penny to the street. And this is a story somebody wrote to their website. A few friends decided to try to challenge this little spirit and throw a quarter off the bridge. The water filled with ripples, and then a child's reflection appeared in the water, and they flew back to their car. And then there's the story about a little boy who was hit by a car and killed on the bridge when he went to pick up a quarter he saw on the ground. The legend says that if you get out of your car and stand on the bridge, if you'll see a quarter drop out of thin air, and when you bend down to pick it up, the little boy will push you into the lake. Not to be mean, but to save you from being hit by the car.
Oh.
Bless his
No,
little...
wait, where is this again? Where is this?
This is in West Milford, New Jersey. Not too far away.
Okay, I want to go. I want to go see this.
We're all going to take a Haunted Chronicles field trip for all you guys listening. We're going to have a big bus and pick you up individually, and we're going to go to some of these places.
Where?
I thought we were taking the jet. Not the
And,
bus.
Yeah, well, we yes. I just think we should do a road trip by train, and we stop at different places and go check everything out, and just do we can just do a whole little movie, a little TV show. We could do our own little documentary.
Yes, exactly.
I think it's fun.
Producers are listening. Oh, I got one that Christine sent to me. Christine Hayes, we had her on as a guest before. I'm going to share this picture after I tell this story because it's all together. During one summer in the 1950s, a group of friends found an old abandoned house in the woods. They entered to see what they could find. There was a hole dug in the ground filled with water. 3 of the boys decided to swim, while the other stayed dry and took pictures of the house with his camera. Why would you go swimming in there? I don't know.
Crazy.
30-something years later, in 1982, a man was hiking and found an old camera. He took it to the local police station to try and find out who it belonged to. The police got the film developed. Most of it had been destroyed except a few pictures. This picture is the last picture that was taken. It is unknown what happened to the boys' faces or why the series of pictures abruptly ended. The kids had never been identified, and their bodies were never found. What is happening in this image still remains a mystery. And I'm posting this in the chat.
Yeah, post that. I want to see that.
I didn't have time to research it anymore, but I thought it was a really cool story. I just found out about it. Look at that.
You know, God, crazy.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
That's kind of crazy.
Jen, do you have a story you wanted to share with us from?
You know, I have 2, but I'm going to share this one because it kind of more well, they're both kind of woods related, but the first one's pretty quick. I lived in Ohio, and I lived in the country, and behind us were forests. And my nearest neighbor was my friend Ann Traxler, and she lived like half a mile from my house, next door to me. So there was woods between us. And then when you hit Ann Traxler's house, she had a little tiny house, and they had next to them this lot that now was overgrown, and that had this old house the grandma used to live in that now it was uninhabited. It was crazy, creepy, but it was in the woods next to their house and, unkept. And then behind their house was a horse barn. They had horses and cows, and so they always had a problem with kids, so they thought, breaking into that old house, and not that it was locked because there wasn't anything to steal, but that used to be like a place where the kids would go and probably go check out the haunted house and that kind of thing. So one night, I was there at Ann's house spending the night, and we were up at in the horse barn feeding the horses, and we're walking back down the path, kind of past the haunted house because it really was weird. And we look, and it's dark. We have our flashlights, and we look, and we see a light on in the house. Now, there was no electricity to the house. So Ann goes, "There's kids in the house. People are in the house. Run. We got to tell my parents." So we ran back to the house. The dad, got dressed and went outside, got his coat on, went outside, and went to the house, and comes back, and he goes, "There's nobody there." And it wasn't enough time for anybody to leave, because they would have had to have walked all the way down to through the trees to the street, and there was no car parked out in front. So we never could figure out what that light was in that house.
Wow.
There was nobody there.
That's kind of crazy.
It's probably the witch.
And it
with
was
the
like a
lone
flashlight,
candle.
like you would think a flashlight or a candle moving around. It was really weird. It was probably that was one of the. I mean, I've had experiences that were personal that happened to me, but that was like, when the dad came back and said, "There's nobody there. There's nobody there." It's like, oh my God, that was creepy. And the second one, if we have time, it's really quick.
Oh, we have time.
Do we? Okay.
Yeah.
So I think I might have said this story before, and if I have, I apologize. But I'll tell it anyway since we have some time. So many years ago, my kids were little, and we lived in Oregon. I've lived so many places. It's crazy. And we were planning a trip with another family to go to the Bahamas. So my husband and my girlfriend, they're really good at planning all these different, adventures. When the kids were little, we'd always travel together. And it was, my husband's like, let's go to Cat Island. It looks so cool. And that's where Harry Belafonte's from. It's pretty desolate. There's not a lot going on there. So they book this trip. We find this house, and the house on the internet looks amazing. It's like, hey, this would be great. This will be fun. It's got a little pool. And so right before we leave, I was looking something up, and come to find out, this island, they very much believe in zombies. And so
Zombie episode.
Yeah, well, and guess what? The Scooby-Doo and Zombie Island pretty much is kind of Cat Island. They kind of co-mingle the two stories. So it was very funny because my husband, of course, has to tell all 4 children before we leave, there's zombies on this island. And he's showing them, the internet and all the things to look for, that this is where they do the rituals and the zombies, and if you see these things, because they're telling you, oh, this is what some of the locals do. Well, let me tell you, I will never go back to Cat Island again, ever. I just got chills.
What's the name of it?
Cat Island, CAT. Now, I tried to look it up today to kind of look up stuff. I think I'd have to have a little more time because I didn't have time to really investigate. But they were saying, I remember at the time it was like, look for this that they have hanging from trees, and that means that they have a zombie, or they know, they've done some ritual to bring back the living. And by God, we get there, and my husband and my girlfriend's husband decide that we're going to go on a zombie adventure. We're going to go find these things. We find them.
Wow.
We find all the things that are hanging on the trees and nailed to the trees, and the creepiest things were happening in the house that we were staying in. In the middle of the night, I'd wake up and I'd hear like this hollow, echoey, crazy noise, and I'm like looking at my husband, I'm hitting him to wake him up, and he hears it, and we get my friends and everybody. We can never figure out what the noise was. It didn't happen every night, but it happened about 4 times out of the 6-7 days we were there. Just had this feeling on this island like you never felt welcome. I mean, even I've been to a lot of places, and this is the one place that I was like, we are not wanted here. They do not like us. They do not want us here. And I'll never go back. I'll never go back to Cat Island. And God, I'm so sorry if anybody out there is from there or knows somebody from there. It was just my experience, and it was not pleasant.
And I'm writing down zombie episode because we're doing a future zombie episode.
And people believe in this stuff.
I believe
they do.
Zombies.
They believe in zombies.
I think we're just about out of time, fellas.
There you go.
And don't think we didn't forget the haunted Romanian forest in Transylvania. We'll get to that one another day. But
that was a good one. That's a good one. Yeah.
Happy Mother's Day, everyone, and good night, and thanks for listening. Good night, Brock, Jen, Dr.
Night,
Dave,
Jimmy.
Paul, Executive.
Good night. Happy Mother's Day. Good night.
Night.